From Oklahoma.
The water was significantly higher than we've seen in recent years.
To Arkansas.
The winds were so bad that I went to go out of my camper and got kind of like pulled back in.
And Missouri.
She had just barely gotten out of her car and into the house, and it was pretty much on top of them.
Plus, it's Marathon Day in Boston. Will the weather cooperate for the more than 30,000 runners?
Great conditions today with lots of sunshine.
And what would you do if a bear showed up at your home's window?
Oh my goodness, the only thing separating me from this bear is a thin piece of, glass, a window.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
And good morning. So glad you're with us here for the National Weather Desk. I'm Adam Longo. Severe storms pounding the nation's midsection over Easter weekend. Since Friday, the National Weather Service says it's received reports of 25 possible tornadoes from Texas to Illinois. 5 have already been confirmed in Oklahoma, where at least 3 people are dead and several others are still missing. Now, these storms also brought heavy rain to many communities, flooded roads and homes. Now, this morning we have team coverage from the hardest hit areas in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. We start with Ryan Sockett in Spalding, Oklahoma, where a twister killed one person on Saturday night.
And they was both laying right there. She was kind of sitting up and he was laying down. And they was talking, they prayed together, and Dad said amen, but they talked to one another and all that, and they went on town. His lungs was collapsed.
An Oklahoma resident losing his parents in an EF1 tornado that touched down in Spalding. Spalding resident KD says his parents were in this mobile home when it was lifted off its foundation by the storm.
Dad was right with the Lord, and if it was a day to go, today he'd have chose today, because the Lord risen today, and he risen today. Dad was that good, and he had plenty of faith, when everything happens for a reason is in my thoughts,
Hughes County Emergency Management posted about this damage from last night's tornado, saying there were 2 injuries, including 1 fatality. They also mentioned that 2 homes were destroyed and several small structures, along with many trees, suffered damage.
Severe storms causing high waters across the metro Saturday evening.
The water was significantly higher than we've seen in recent years, and never really had any flooding in this area, in this particular intersection, but we did tonight.
2 cars became stranded due to the high waters, according to the Moore Police Department.
2 vehicles got swept off the road. One ended up underneath the other one. Occupants of the vehicle that was on top were able to get out. They were taken to safety, either transported to the hospital or were taken home.
1 man was rescued from the other car, while crews used drones and a swift water rescue team to search for 2 others. On Sunday, MPD confirmed 44-year-old Erica Lott and her 12-year-old son, Rivers Bond, were found dead.
And the search resumes this morning for 2 people who are missing after an SUV was swept away by floodwaters. Police say a man driving his family in an SUV tried to cross a low-water bridge near Tulsa. Well, as the vehicle quickly took on water, the father and an older daughter made it to dry land, but his wife and younger daughter did not. Well, at least 2 tornadoes touched down in Arkansas as severe storms pounded that state over the weekend. We have 2 reports here, starting with Kayla Christian, who's just outside of Little Rock, where an apparent twister hit last night.
There is a property damage. There are lots of trees down, lots of power lines down, and as a matter of fact, they have many roads that are blocked off. As you can see behind me, one of the roads that are blocked off, and so they're saying that it's best that people stay put if possible, because there is a lot of damage out there, and right now they don't even know all of the damage that has been sustained out here in Lonoke County. That's something that's going to be revealed, as the sun comes up in the morning, and then they'll be able to tackle more of those things. But we actually spoke with families who said, this was something that they weren't expecting, that they hadn't experienced before, and definitely something that they don't want to experience again.
It was definitely the scariest thing I've ever encountered in my life.
Following heavy rain and strong winds Friday into Saturday, several communities in the River Valley woke up to find damage. In Ozark, a camper was flipped to its side. The owners told me thankfully they weren't home when it happened, but their next door neighbor was.
The winds were so bad that I went to go out of my camper and got kind of like pulled back in and then pushed back out, and like all my stuff kind of started flying out. It's definitely very crazy.
In Mulberry, large trees on the perimeter of the new Mulberry Cemetery were uprooted and knocked over headstones. People in the community quickly showing up to help clean up.
We've seen a lot of commotion up here and came up to see what was going on.
Rodney Beckham says he was lucky his home wasn't impacted.
I have a huge pine tree in my front yard, and I thank the Lord that ours is still standing, really. You know, and 200 yards and it would have been my house.
Now, crews from the National Weather Service will also be out in Missouri later today surveying damage from that line of storms. The powerful winds caused significant damage to a recycling plant in Columbia, but it wasn't the only damage in town. Trees fell across the region, damaging several homes and businesses. While there aren't any reported deaths in Missouri, we're told that the cleanup will take quite some time. Reporter Amaya Henry is in the small town of New Bloomfield.
An afternoon of heavy winds captures the home of a New Bloomfield family.
Like, a lot of people don't take warnings very seriously and don't take shelter when they should, and they think that they're going to have plenty of time. They're going to be able to look out the window and see a tornado coming, and that really isn't how it works.
Authorities say the storm was strong and swift.
From what I understand, this tornado, this particular one that hit out there off of that county road, it kind of like dropped down. Yeah, I think it happened really fast. I think when I spoke to the homeowner, she had just barely gotten out of her car and into the house, and it was pretty much on top of them.
While the storm had the strength to damage a home, it was far too weak to keep a community apart.
I heard from a friend that their house had been hit, and within 30 seconds their daughter called, and she was obviously very emotional and devastated. And seeing all these people here coming in and out all afternoon, offering whatever they can to help is truly a testament to this very amazing small community of New Bloomfield.
North central Texas also slammed by severe weather. Between Texas and Oklahoma, the National Weather Service lists at least 17 reports of tornadoes there Saturday. These ominous clouds were spotted in Jacksboro, Texas. That's just northwest of Dallas. Well, temperatures across the country have been warming up, but that doesn't mean there won't still be frost forming. Meteorologist Kit Alexander looks at when different parts of the country typically see their last frost of the season.
Not everyone in the country is done with the frost chances quite yet. While frost does correlate with the temperature at or below freezing, oftentimes frost can occur even when the air temperature is a little bit above 32 degrees, up to around 36 degrees or so. In fact, frost advisories are issued in many locations when the temperature drops to 36 or below. So after a strong cold front, frost will occur on those clear nights when the winds are light and a solid surface like the ground is cooled below the dew point temperature. But the good news is the next 2 weeks do feature warmer than average temperatures for a large portion of the United States. So enjoy the warmer temperatures and happy planting.
Well, today is Patriots Day in Massachusetts, and of course that means it's time for the 129th running of the Boston Marathon. Weather always crucial for runners, so we asked Rhode Island meteorologist Christina Ernie to fill us in on today's race forecast.
Happy Patriots Day. It's the 129th running of the Boston Marathon. Great conditions today with lots of sunshine, especially as the race kicks off. We'll be seeing filtered sunshine, and the rest of the day, increase in clouds, but generally looking really pleasant. And our temperatures are comfortable as well. Starting off comfortably cool. That's great for the runners. And we will see decreasing sunshine, but still pretty nice as we head into the mid to upper 50s with only a slight sea breeze. I'm sure the runners will be ditching their jackets after Heartbreak Hill. Enjoy the day. I'm meteorologist Christina Ernie for the National Weather Desk.
Well, it hasn't always been that great. Looking back, weather for the marathon has been somewhat unpredictable. In 2012, the high was 87 degrees. 7 years ago, it was only 38 degrees at the start of the race, with drenching rains and gusty winds. Snow has fallen at least 5 times for the event, most recently in 1967, and the hottest temperature was way back in 1905 at 100 degrees. Now, coming up in just about 8 minutes, we're going to have some tips on how you can train for a marathon even when the weather isn't so great. And for all the latest weather news and video, be sure to check us out on social media. You can find us on all of your favorite platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. And just ahead here on the National Weather Desk, we're going to learn about a disease that is decimating southern strawberry crops. And we're going to help you better understand the dangers of rip currents.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast as we head through the day on Monday. Many areas in eastern New England going to see a good amount of sunshine. We'll see the clouds increase, and then a storm system, a frontal boundary will pass through. We are going to see the showers and even some thunderstorms develop, and it will continue to move on off towards the east as we head through Monday night into the day on Tuesday. And then the sunshine will return for many areas as we head into the day on Tuesday. High temperatures today topping out in the 50s to lower 60s.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We're going to be watching for some clouds to start your Monday morning. It'll start to warm up as we'll have this front move across the region, but along it we could see some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms throughout the day. As we get to Tuesday, though, this cold front behind it will clear away any clouds. We'll see lots of sunshine, but our temperatures will still be pretty warm. We'll get to the 70s likely almost everywhere tomorrow afternoon. We'll see some slightly cooler air rolling in, but we'll look at still getting into the upper 60s in the mountains, upper 70s near 80 degrees closer to the coast.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs. We're looking at 74 degrees in Nashville compared to 81 in Birmingham, 85 nice and toasty there in Raleigh, 87 Jacksonville, 89 down in Tampa. We are seeing a little mixture of sun and clouds over the southeast, but this cold front that's caused a lot of severe storms over the plains will be pushing through parts of northern Mississippi, Alabama, looking at central Tennessee. Georgia should get some night storms. It could be some gusty, severe weather. We'll watch that through the evening.
The National Weather Desk.
Storms and flooding in Arkansas are dealing a heavy blow to the state's strawberry farmers. All the excess water is leading to a disease that's causing lots of concern. Kayla Christian with more.
This new disease is called Neopistolopsiopsis.
Previously found in other parts of the U.S., NeoP was just recently discovered in Arkansas, threatening some growers' crops.
That disease will actually result in the plants dying. And so when the plants start to die, of course, then they're no longer producing fruit.
The disease also causes brown spots on already produced fruit, making them unmarketable.
Growers are trying to figure out this year how to combat that disease and then also deal with sort of the intense weather that we've been having.
Experts say it thrives in temperatures between 60 and 79 degrees and in prolonged wet conditions like the state has experienced this spring. Though growers already apply fungicides, remove dead leaves, and other maintenance.
Going forward, growers are continuing some of those same practices of hoping that we don't have any more extended periods of rainfall so that the disease can't spread further.
And though some strawberry farms made it out unscathed,
so there have been some losses, and some growers even reduced the amount of acreage that they planted,
while others had to stop the sale of strawberries altogether. And right now, there's no way to control it or manage it.
Because this is a new disease that we haven't really dealt with in the past, and so we're still kind of learning as the season progresses. So after this season, we'll know a lot more, and then hopefully we can be even more effective in combating it in future seasons.
Let's talk about tornadoes now. They can happen any time of the year, of course, when conditions are right, but we are likely to see more of them this time of year. Meteorologist Chris Suchan reviews some tornado terminology and safety just in time for the peak of severe weather season.
A tornado watch simply means conditions are favorable to develop a tornado if you see a severe thunderstorm. But you may not even see a thunderstorm, so that just creates awareness. This is the action term, tornado warning. A tornado has been spotted, or strong indications on Doppler radar that we have rotation and a tornado is on the ground. A tornado emergency, that's a severe threat to human life and catastrophic damage. Now, in terms of where to go in your home for safety, always want to be at the lowest portion of your home. That's the best, not upstairs on the second floor. And then you want to put as much distance between you and the exterior walls of your home. So in this case here, closet, hallway, the good options, even the bathroom if it doesn't have a window here. But generally speaking, it would be in the middle of that first level of your home. And of course, take pillows and blankets with you, maybe even a mattress for protection, especially if you know a tornado is coming at you. And then if you have the luxury of a basement or a storm shelter, that clearly is the best place to be. And always make sure you have shoes on when you go to your safe room, just in case your house is hit. Then you don't have to walk on glass, nails, debris with socks or barefoot.
Now, tornadoes aren't the only risk this time of year. If you plan on being in the water, rip currents are a real danger. Meteorologist Alan Strum shows you ways to stay safe should you encounter one.
When you think about dangerous weather events, things come to mind like hurricanes, tornadoes, but another big weather killer can be rip currents. Now here's how rip currents form. What we have is water that goes over a shallow area and then has to exit out through a deeper channel. This is where people get stuck. Going against that is like working on a treadmill. It's impossible to swim against a rip current. So the best advice is to swim parallel to the shore and not fight the current. By swimming parallel to the shore, you can get out of the rip current and hopefully get back to shore safely.
So a quiet night almost took a dangerous turn last week when a woman's dog started barking in kind of a strange way. That's when she looked and saw a bear right outside of her window. Jacob Hunziker has the story.
Come here. That's Athena. She's Madison Dalton's normally calm German Shepherd, but Wednesday night, not so much.
Athena, come here. Come here.
I hear this loud crash. I see Athena laying in the living room. All of a sudden, she pops up. Our motion light cuts on, and I see something running away. And I was like, what in the world?
But it didn't end there. About 50 minutes later, another crash.
I look up. Athena hops up. She's staring out the window. The motion light cuts back on, and I'm staring at a bear.
Athena, come here. Come here.
I had 2 bags of icing in my hand. I throw these bags of icing down. I hop up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the only thing separating me from this bear is a thin piece of glass, a window.
Fortunately, though, the bear just stared back in response.
And the other night, we had deer going through the yard. We've had raccoons, possum. We had a bunch of different things, but this was the first time I'd ever seen a bear.
She found some damage left behind from the bear. Her bird feeder pulled down. Enough proof that she knows to change some things moving forward and offers this advice to others.
Distance bird feeders away from the house if you don't want to put them up, but I myself will be going ahead and taking those down for now.
And she's thankful she had her guard dog by her side to keep her safe.
As soon as she started barking, that's when the bear kind of made its turn and went up the driveway, but it was crazy. It was crazy.
Athena, come here.
It sounds like she's got a zoo in her yard. All right, so listen, as mentioned earlier, the weather for today's Boston Marathon is going to be pretty nice. But what is the best way to prepare for long runs when the weather isn't so great? Emily Gracie talked to ultra marathon runner and meteorologist Andrew Buck Michael to find out.
For the heat, it's hydration, especially leading up to the event and during it, since you're going to be sweating a lot more. When it's colder, it's those extra layers. So when it does warm up a little bit, you can either take that off. When I do a lot of the trail running, just throw it in my pack, the light jacket or whatnot. And shoe choice is going to differ as well. If you're going to be running in something where it's a little slippery, something that has better grip to it.
Do you look at things like dew point when it comes to running?
I'm a profuse sweater. So the dew point means that I'm going to be extra sticky when that is high, the dew point specifically. And when it's lower, I mean, I've done a run in Las Vegas before and it was 13 miles and I got done and my shirt was completely dry. So for all of us here in the Midwest or the East Coast, we're used to that humidity. But if for anybody that coming from outside, maybe you're coming from the West Coast somewhere where it's a little bit more of an arid climate, just be prepared that you're going to be sweating a little bit more than what you normally would if you're coming from a dry climate.
I ran a race once and it was so dry. When I was done, I had salt all over me.
Oh, yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
All the time. Making sure that you're up on those electrolytes, especially for those longer races, for the marathon distance, especially, and longer, whether that's the Gatorade or whatever they have along the side of the course, making sure that you are not depleting your electrolytes.
How does your body tell you when the weather elements that you're in are not safe and you should stop?
Know what you can do. Know your limits, whether it's the heat. If you don't deal well with the heat, then either scale back or try wearing loose, light-fitting clothing. So that way you can just try to beat the heat as best as possible. The cold's a big one because obviously if you stop moving, if something happens to you, you need to make sure that you can get to a shelter where you can stay warm. Maybe you sprain an ankle, break a bone. I mean, just thinking worst case scenario. When I do my long trail runs and we're out in the middle of those state parks, we have those safety Mylar, like aluminum foil blankets, basically. So if it gets cold enough and we can't keep moving, there's something that we can wrap ourselves in to keep us warmer.
All right, time now for a short break. As we go, we take flight over the Dinky Creek that is in Fresno, California.
Well, a very good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael, dealing with some rain kicking out of the Ohio Valley for the day today, but a little bit of rain does start to kick back into the Dakotas later into the day. As we continue on into the next few days here, that rain continues moving its way across the middle part of the Midwest on Tuesday, and a few scattered showers and storms on Wednesday. Temperatures staying fairly warm for most of us, but a little cooler to the far north.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at your forecast across the region. We're starting clear and cool 40s, 50s across Oklahoma and in North Texas. Still humidity along a stationary front, bringing some scattered showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast for your day today. Temperatures will climb into the 70s and 80s for the afternoon. We'll bring back severe weather chances, especially across the western portion of our region by Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. An area of low pressure will spin out some showers as well as some snow through parts of Montana, Wyoming, and through the Dakotas. Meanwhile, high pressure will build offshore or towards the Pacific Ocean, and that's going to gradually create clearer conditions across the West Coast. Temperatures will be in the middle 50s through Seattle, 60 degrees in Portland, middle 60s in LA, upper 60s in San Diego. Phoenix will be warming to 91 degrees, and in the upper 80s through Las Vegas. That's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
All right, well, as we get deeper into spring, areas in the Northeast are preparing for wildfires. Meteorologist Ryan Munn is in Portland, Maine with more.
Once the snow melts, a lot of what's underneath is dead and drying out, dead grass, leaf litter, pine needles, all of the stuff from the previous growing season.
It doesn't take much sun exposure or wind to dry out the moisture, making vegetation very flammable.
We really encourage people to be flexible and be ready to put that fire out. Make sure they're watching it at all times. You know, it's required that you attend a burning fire at all times.
Strong winds can pick up or change direction, and even if conditions look good when starting debris burn, they can quickly change.
Now, we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. All right, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Adam Longo. Hope you can make it a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.